past.
Mr. Attorney General, thank you for being here. It's an honor to be able to question you. I had a chance to question you was May 15th in 2013. I was asking you about General Petraeus and his time as the CIA director. I followed up with a letter on March 3rd, 2014. I've communicated with your legislative staff through our staff. My question for you regarding again, this is about General Petraeus' time as the director of the CIA. My understanding is that the FBI did go to General Petraeus' home. They took documents and other items. There's some feedback that perhaps the FBI is a bit frustrated that there has not been a prosecution moving forward. Can you give us a status of what's happening? And is there any friction with the FBI and what to do with this case?
Well, all I can say is that this is an ongoing investigation. I'm really not in a position to say much more about it than that. Though I will say, you know, I've been briefed on this matter, and I did not detect any friction in what is is an ongoing matter.
You know, we're talking about 2 years later, and this is still hanging over his head.
Yeah.
Is that fair? Is that really fair to have somebody who's been touted as one of America's greats having this hang over his head for 2 years? When do you anticipate closing this off?
No, that's a very legitimate question. I sat with General Petraeus in the Situation Room when he was the head of the CIA. He was a great colleague. I think he's a true patriot.
I've got to get to some more specific questions. I think that's the concern, too, is that this has been hanging over his head. It just doesn't seem fair to have this hang over his head for so long. When did this happen, when they went to his home and extracted these documents?
As I said, I can't comment about an ongoing investigation.
Last I asked you, you said that you first found out about this in the summer of 2012. Was that accurate? You were going to get back to me. I hadn't heard back from you.
Both the question when you posed is a long time ago, and when I actually was first aware of this is kind of a long time at this point. It was sometime certainly in 2012, but exactly when I don't.
There seemed to be a number of mandatory reporting statutes that were not complied with. That's one of the concerns. As Senator Feinstein said, quote, "A decision was made somewhere not to brief us," which is atypical. This is certainly an operationally sensitive matter, but we weren't briefed. I don't know who made that decision, end quote. This was quoted in NBC News.
I see. Oh, well,
I mean, why not inform the Congress? Why not do the necessary requirements under the law, the National Security Act of 1947?
Right. Without commenting on the investigation itself, but with regard to our decision or determination about how we would interact outside of the Justice Department, we did not think on the basis of the allegations that we were looking at that there was any basis or any concern that we had about our national security on the basis of the information.
There is a news report that in spring of 2012, General Petraeus' schedule was compromised and that his security detail was informed of that. Is that true?
Again, I don't want to go into an ongoing investigation.
When is this going to be complete?
It is a matter that is ongoing, that we are working diligently to resolve.
And do you have any idea when the president was told?
I'm not. I don't remember right now.
Do you remember when Mr. Morrell was told, his deputy?
I don't remember that as well.
Mr. Brennan? Do you know when Mr. Brennan was informed?
I don't remember. I'm not sure.
Mr. Attorney General, I've got the greatest respect for you. I appreciate personally the time you've taken with me. I asked questions in the committee about a year ago. I send you a follow-up letter. I work with the legislative staff. We come before a hearing again. And it appears as if you took no time to go back and ask for these very basic things. We're dealing about not the head of the Department of Fish and Wildlife. We're talking about the CIA director, somebody who's revered in this country. And here we are 2 years later. It seems suspicious that it continues to linger without any sort of relief. And I think the Congress's understanding of how you deal with the mandatory requirements to inform the Congress is something that's concerning Senator Feinstein. It concerns me. I think it's fair to say it concerns the Intelligence Committee. And that's what we would like some help understanding over the course of time.
I think we complied with the reporting requirements that you referenced and that I guess Senator Feinstein had referenced also. I can also tell you that the matter has, again, not talking about the specifics, but the fact of it, The matter has been handled in a diligent way, and sometimes these matters they unfortunately take time.
In the CRS, as I yield back, it says, the CRS report says, it seems that once the FBI investigation turned to possible hacking involving Petraeus' private email account, the purpose of the investigation was likely to discover where the compromise of intelligence may have occurred, in which case it would seem that to fit the definition of intelligence activity under the NSA, I would just point to this CRS report, Mr. Chairman, of November 15th of 2012. Yield back.
Gentleman, time has expired. The gentleman from